sewing friends, welcome to my sewing room. Today I'm visiting the International Quilt Museum in Nebraska. Let's get started. I have been traveling with my husband and my daughter. We are on our way to Pennsylvania from California to attend an international Airstream rally. And so a lot of Airstream trailers will be there, and on the way I stopped at the museum here in Nebraska, and I thought I would take you along to see this beautiful museum. There were a lot of tempting items in the museum gift shop. I loved the little pin cushions here, and I'll show you at the end what I did end up purchasing before I left. This is the first exhibit I walked through when I got to the museum, and this lady is a true artist. This quilt has so many details, and she had a lot of 3D art in this room that's displaying her beautiful quilted art. This museum is really beautiful. As I walked upstairs, I admired the triangle-shaped art display above me, and on the second floor is the main, I would say the main area with the quilts. I have seen some of these quilts in this room online here and there, and it was really fun to see them in person and to admire all of the detail that goes into these quilts. The International Quilt Museum in Lincoln, Nebraska features over 9,000 quilts from more than 60 countries. So this museum holds a lot of quilts, and they're able to put together some really amazing exhibits. This was the first older quilt that I looked at today. It had some stitching on that was so tiny. I couldn't believe the tiny stitches. And here is some parts of the quilting that are stuffed. Here's that tiny, tiny stitching, sort of like cross stitch. And the applique was just beautiful. Those those stuffed areas are called trapunto, where you quilt around, and after you have a little bit of it quilted, you kind of stuff in the cotton wadding to make those beautiful designs on the quilt top. And here is another quilt, an applique quilt that was just stunning. I took pictures of this quilt block and the next one because I thought they were so beautiful. Very simple, but really beautiful. The quilts that I'm showing now were made by African American quilters, and I just wanted to highlight this quilt here with the yarn. It is just full of yarn ties. It was really very inspiring, very interesting. I had never seen anything like it. So many amazing quilts that were really fun to look at. Log cabin quilts are such a classic, and I tried to get up close so you could see some of the old fabrics that were used in this beautiful quilt. On the third floor of the museum, there were quite a few old quilt tops that had been quilted in a modern fashion with a long arm or a sewing machine. I'm not sure. There wasn't a lot of description, but someone took these old quilt tops and had them quilted with machine, and there were some real unique, not this one right here. I really like this quilt, so I did take a video here, but there were some very unique quilting patterns and designs used on these old quilt tops. Here was a very whimsical quilted quilt using, like I said, an old vintage quilt, and then it was quilted with red thread with a machine, and it just very interesting and really fun to look at. I enjoyed looking at these doll quilts. I understand that the museum has a collection of doll quilts that are not able to be viewed in this particular room because there was too much light. So there was a quilter who reproduced some of the vintage doll quilts, and they are displayed really well here in this exhibit right here. I had fun looking through the used book collection. Upstairs there are used books for sale, and it was kind of fun to look through all of these quilt books. Here is the book I did purchase at the end of my visit to the International Quilt Museum. I will enjoy looking through this book and getting inspiration for another quilt. It was really fun to come to this museum. Thank you for joining me as I walked through and looked at everything. I'm going to continue on my journey, and I will see you next time. Thanks for joining me.